From the air, water, and on the ground.
You're looking at, for example, miles and miles of land. Even just coming up straight to the river, we have carrizo cane, we have brush, we have trees that make it difficult for us to actually see where they're at and where they're hiding.
WDRB spent 3 days embedded with Border Patrol and Air and Marine operations at the Texas-Mexico border. Security here is catching undocumented immigrants and finding large amounts of drugs. Roma is a border town about 1,400 miles from Louisville, where there are heavy patrols. We were there as people crossed into the U.S. and got caught.
How do you feel now? You came so far. Now you're here.
No. Ya no es como antes.
So it's not like it was before?
Just in this area that you're in right now, we had an agent and a Texas State Trooper get shot when they were down there by the river. So, do things happen? Absolutely.
Entry traffic 10341 39.
Guns going to the highest bidder. This is a Kentucky State Police confiscated weapons auction.
I think it's usually a pretty good mix of handguns and long guns, whether they're rifles and shotguns, whatever.
All guns used in crimes confiscated by police, sold only to federal firearms licensed dealers.
The majority of dealers here will be from out of state. We've seen them as far away from Texas, Florida, Ohio, Illinois.
27 dealers are here inspecting the guns, then bidding on the best ones.
It's just a requirement that you have to be a federally firearms licensed dealer in order to enter the auction. It's a standard requirement.
Last summer, WDRB started questioning why KSP wouldn't allow us to show what happens inside these auctions. After decades of keeping the media out, after our story aired, we are now allowed inside.
The fact is that these auctions are something that should be transparent, and we're not doing anything that is not being done at any other Walmart or any other FFL dealer that sells guns.
Our investigation showed how some guns taken off the street were sold at auction, then somehow ended up at another crime scene. Louisville's police chief points to 40 such cases.
What can KSP do, though, to ensure that these guns stay in the right hands?
By following the process established by law and procedure by our lawmakers that define exactly how they are to get into the public, and that is through federal firearms licensed dealers.
At this auction, more than 700 guns and weapons were sold. Money raised here helps pay for bulletproof vests and other equipment for local police agencies.
I think it gives us an opportunity to come out and purchase firearms for a little less than new and make a little money.
While making money for the state, too.
With valor and honor, rain and rumbles, a hero returns home.
Everybody loved him.
Hundreds lined the streets of Columbus, Indiana Tuesday to honor U.S. Army Sergeant Jonathan Hunter.
He served for us. He served our country.
His community is showing their gratitude for his service.
The sacrifice that he made and the freedom that we take for granted every single day.
A heartbreaking homecoming as Hunter's grieving widow touched his casket for the first time. Fighting for our freedom, the 23-year-old was one of 2 soldiers killed in a suicide bombing near Kandahar, Afghanistan in early August.
To get news like that, it's devastating. He's young, and he was full of life.
Family says Hunter was only 32 days into his first deployment when he was killed. He joined the Army in 2014.
He always had a smile on his face. He was very joyful in everything he did. He was God-loving. He did so many things for other people.
As the rain poured down, the crowds grew, a city united.
That's what we're about, coming together.
Paying respects to their hometown hero.
We're all close-knit around here, and we're out here just supporting them, showing them love.
We're really proud of him being a soldier.
To find Scott Clark, just listen for the beeping.
This is a bit like learning to play an instrument. You have to develop kind of a third eye in your head for underground. And that eye is fed with the sounds from the detector. So it's much more sound than anything.
In a private location on several hundred acres of land in Lawrenceburg, the expert metal detectorist unloads for the day. Headphones, detector, GPS, and a bag for artifacts.
The finds that are good are pinched into this pouch. The junk goes in here.
In we go to find a target.
After I've got a general sound, I'll use a pinpointer to narrow it down.
Clark will dig more than 100 holes in a day.
It's at this moment when you really don't know what you're getting. You've got a good signal and you're zeroed in on it, but
holes that often take him back to the 18th century.
It's a bit like time travel. So I wonder about who lost it. I wonder about what it was used for, why it was there, how they felt about losing it. Finding toys and marbles helps me tell there were kids here, out in the wilderness like this.
He'll use his GPS to add a picture into the database.
And then bag it as first artifact of the day. And fill the hole back up and start over.
His hobby started when he was 15.
Started a coin collection and I was hooked from that point forward.
Now he works with archaeologists traveling around the region. He doesn't keep his findings, rather passes them on for research.
I have a lot of very cool coins, super cool buttons, and still for me the thrill is in what it means. Why is it there, and how does it work with all the other artifacts nearby in that story?
He's gaining attention for his hobby, reaching several thousand Facebook fans.
It's just flattering and humbling, and I appreciate every single one of them.
It's not for the attention or the money.
It's not just ripping objects out of the ground and putting them in the basement or on eBay. It's really saving them for their kids and the kids that come after that.
He says he's filling in the gaps of history.